last one on the manager one, and it's about Maurizio Pochettino. We got the here we go from Chelsea. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And it really, really broke my heart seeing that. And I want to put the question to you guys. Is Poch now considered a traitor at Tottenham? Is he a Judas? We'll start with you, Adam, on this one.
Absolutely not. There's no way you can put him in the same, like, because when we talk about Judas, we know exactly who we're talking about, right? Like there's one man who makes all the bile in your body want to spill out of your mouth, and it's Sol Campbell, and what that man did was run down his contract to the degree that we couldn't even make any money off him before he went to the worst possible side that he could have gone for. That is the definition of a Judas. As far as Pochettino is concerned, first of all, as much as for the last while, Chelsea have been more of an obstacle for us than Arsenal have been, they're still not our top rivals. But also, you've got to look at the fact that Poch was waiting around for us. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If there's a guy who's hanging around waiting for the love of his life to come back to him, and she just keeps saying no, and there's a beautiful woman down the street who's eyeing him up, at some point he has to go, right, I just can't wait any longer. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so I don't. We've forced Poch into that scenario. Because Chelsea are regardless of what we want to say about them, they're a golden opportunity for any manager, especially given the money bags that they've got. If they just have someone with a bit of sense come in and take the bull by the horns, that team can easily go on to win the league next year. And so, you know, Poch cannot turn down that opportunity when he has been sitting around waiting for us. He has. He's made it very, very, very clear that if we had come calling, he would have immediately come straight back to Spurs, and we didn't do it. And it's all thanks to the plonkers at the top of the hierarchy, you know, at our club. So I don't think it would be fair at all for anyone to hold it against Pochettino. When if it was Arsenal, yes, look, they are our ultimate rivals. If he went there, that's just not on. But as
Adam,
much as
Poch said Chelsea were bigger rivals to us than Arsenal at the time when he was here.
At the time, yeah. But that being said, it's still, you know, in our heart of hearts, we know who our ultimate, you know, arch enemy is. And again, it's very, very different when you throw the term Judas around. I mean, that's one of the most despicable things you can call someone. So you better bloody deserve it. And you know, so 100% Sol Campbell is the definition of the word, and I don't think Pochettino should be considered in the same ilk whatsoever. Not even close. Not when he would have come back to us in a heartbeat, and we just wouldn't do it.
Dave?
No, I think it's very hard to sort of call him a Judas, harsh, to be honest with you. Look, you can't expect this guy to put his whole career on hold for us. The reality is, Adam said, you know, he's been waiting around for us. We could have done it when we started Pochettino, we didn't. We could have done it when we started Stellini, we didn't. And even when it was put out there in the news that he was going to sign for Chelsea the next day, it's still been rumbling on for a week or so. He's left us an opening window to be able to swoop in and take that deal off him and bring him to Tottenham Hotspur. We have failed to do that. And for me, you can't put this on Pochettino. Now, look, I'm not one of them where I wish him to go and win everything, because I don't want that. In fact, I want it to fall flat on its face. He gets sacked, and we just realise we're wrong and bring him in here. But it's not his fault. He can't put his whole football career on hold for Tottenham Hotspur. The reality is, they're never going to bring him back here under this ownership. Why? Because once you do, especially if you haven't got Tottenham into gear in between then everyone will be, the first thing they'll do, it undermines their position, because everyone will be questioning, well, that was a big waste of money that we spent on recruitment. Why don't we just let Poch do it if we're going to bring him back here to do it now? You know, that was a load of money we wasted on managers and all their staff and paying them off and everything else. Because why don't we just do it with Pochettino and keep his guys here in the first place? So they will never, ever, ever bring him back here as long as they're there, because it undermines them and it gives more and more people to make noise about them, protest about them and get them out. It makes them look more and more incompetent. The fact that Pochettino actually wanted to commit to us when he didn't have to. There were so many other jobs he could have left in the meantime to go to, nearly any job in the world. So they're never, ever going to bring him back here while they're here. That's just the reality of it. And on that, I don't blame Pochettino. It's not his fault Daniel Levy doesn't have a set of balls on him and he doesn't come out and say, do you know what? I got it wrong. I apologise. We should have done this the first time round. We're going to get him in now and we're going to take it seriously. That's not Pochettino's fault. That's Levy's fault. The question should be, is Levy the Judas, not Pochettino?
I think we already know our feelings on Daniel Levy, but no, I understand where you're coming from, and I kind of like agree that it's not Pochettino is not a Judas, and Pochettino, you know, I understand his decision to go to Chelsea, I really do, but there's always going to be that part of me that thinks, oh man, you can't be doing this. You can't be managing Chelsea. Like, what are we supposed to think seeing him in that opposition dugout at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, going to Stamford Bridge at his home stadium? I mean, it's going to make me sick to my actual stomach. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it, to be honest. So for me, Pochettino, as long as he's in that job, he's completely dead to me. He's no Tottenham legend. He's no legend of mine. As soon as he enters that role, he's completely dead to me, in my opinion.
Let me ask you a quick question, Benji. Do you think Levy would have got more slack if we would have brought him back, or do you think he'll get more slack for just leaving and go to Chelsea unchallenged?
Letting him go Chelsea unchallenged. For sure.
Yeah. But for me, from how I see it, is like there's only so many times we can spit in his face before he becomes unloyal to us. Like the guy, we sacked him after he gave us regular Champions League football. He consistently overachieved, and we had hit a bit of form, but because we had continual low investment, or we went 18 months out signing a player, not long before he was sacked. We sacked him 4 months after a Champions League got us to a Champions League final. We literally jumped at the first chance we had to sack him. Essentially, that was literally the first chance we had to sack him, and we did sack him when we jumped in and got Jose Mourinho. Yeah. So we absolutely showed no loyalty to him at that point. We then didn't hire him back when we had numerous opportunities to really to jump at a chance to hire him back. He has said continuously on interviews that he has unfinished business at Tottenham. He would love to come back to Tottenham and try and win something and finish what he started. It's the club of his heart. He has a strong affinity to Spurs. He didn't have to say all of that, but he did on an interview not even that long after he got sacked. He was saying that on BT Sport. So he was saying all this, and yet we have had so many chances to go back in for him, yet we haven't made the phone call. We haven't even had a conversation with him to see if he'd be interested in coming back. And it's not like we have great options. We're talking about Arne Slot. We're talking about Brendan Rodgers. We're talking about managers who probably aren't going to come here. We're talking about managers who, let's be honest, don't hold a candle to Mauricio Pochettino right now in terms of high status in the game, in terms of what they've done, in terms of what we know they can do. They don't hold a candle to Pochettino. Yet we're still, even at this stage, not calling him back. So how many times is he going to get spat on in the face by this club, not by the fans, by the way, by the hierarchy, before he says, look, I've got no choice here, I'm going to go to Chelsea. Yeah. So I absolutely don't blame him whatsoever. Part of me is obviously going to be like, you can't go to Chelsea, they're our biggest rivals, how can you do this to us, it's going to hurt the fans so much. And yes, there is a bit of a disregard in that fact, but like, what is he supposed to do? Just put his career on hold because Tottenham keeps spitting in his face? Spot on. That's the reality.
There is an appropriate middle ground. There's an appropriate middle ground, isn't there, in fairness? Because it's like, should we be happy for Poch? No. Should we want him to go and be successful at Chelsea? No. Should we ever want him to come back to Tottenham now that he's gone to Chelsea? No. Should we... can we say, even go so far as to say he's dead to me? I think there's there's legitimacy to having that sort of feeling because he has gone to somebody else who, he's broken our hearts as fans. Can he ever be called a Tottenham legend now? Absolutely not when he's done that. But is he a Judas was the question. And there is only one Tottenham Judas, and we all know exactly who that is.
I think that's spot on.
The thing is, though, there's been a lot of sort of crossover between Chelsea and Tottenham in the past. People still call Glenn Hoddle a Tottenham legend. You know, he was manager at Chelsea there for a little bit. You know, we've also had 3 ex-Chelsea managers in this door. So there's been a bit of a crossover. You got to realise, look,
Jimmy Greaves played for Chelsea.
Who?
Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah. You know, but like we got to realise Pochettino is at the top of his game now. Well, he ain't waiting for David Moyes to be sacked at West Ham to take that job. You know, he ain't going to take Southampton job even though they've gone down. And the reality is, Some of our rivals are up in and around the top 6, and that's what job was available to him. I can't blame him for that. He's not going to turn around and sit there and go, what does he do? I'm going to wait for Liverpool. He doesn't know when Jurgen Klopp's going to get sacked because they're backing him again. He ain't going to wait for Guardiola to be sacked because you don't know how long he's going to be there. Ten Hag's only took over United and got Arsenal in a title race, so he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So if Poch wants to manage in the Premier League, that's the only option that was available, here or Chelsea. We didn't contact him. It ain't his fault. And I don't think anyone should really be getting too upset with it. Arsenal's our real rivals. Chelsea, invented this rivalry because they don't want a rivalry with Fulham because they're shy. That's the harsh reality of it. That is the harsh reality of it. So for me, you can't be angry at Pochettino. Not his fault. And there've been plenty of crossover between the two clubs before. It's Arsenal you don't go to. That's it for me.
Dave, you quickly mentioned something before while Adam was saying. Adam said, does this completely rule out now return for Tottenham? Adam says yes, but do you agree with that? I think you said no. Yeah, no, it doesn't rule out return. Why should it? We took Jose Mourinho on and he was at the Chelsea job. Took Conte on he was at the Chelsea job, knowing what they've said about Tottenham in the past and stuff like that. So for me, I don't ever see a problem with him coming back here. Does it take away from his legacy? No. Reality is he's done a great job for us.
Yeah, no, to be honest though, when you're looking at history and the managers that we have employed, you probably think that it increases his chance of coming here after he does finish at Chelsea, to be honest.
Does it matter, Dave? Does it matter to you how successful he is at Chelsea? If he really does really well and wins loads of trophies, beats us loads of times, does that change anything for you in terms of whether you want him back?
No, it just goes to show and hammer home even more how we mess things up here at this football club, But look, reality is I don't want him to go there. I don't want him to win a thing. I hope it crashes and burns. I really don't want him to win a thing. However, I just don't blame him. And even if he does have a going boatload of success, fair play to you. You waited around for us. We didn't take you. So you went there and you've done what everyone accused what you couldn't do at Tottenham, which was win trophies. So fair fucks to you.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, I completely agree with what everyone's saying. He was left with no choice. He was waiting around for us, blah, 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 all of that. But the fact of the matter is, the guy is an enemy now. He was once a legend of this football club, and right now, whilst he's in that dugout, he is an enemy of this football club, and that's just the facts of the matter, and you can't get away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, he's always going to be a rival while he's at Chelsea, but...
Not a rival, an enemy.
Well, either or, enemy, rival, they're all the one to me, Benji. They all mean the same thing, to be honest. But look, I love the rivalry in football. You can still have that rivalry, but, if he ever wanted to come back here, I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
It's going to hurt seeing him in blue, though.
It's going to kill me. It's going to kill me. When I got those words, here we go, from Fabrizio, and it was only 24 hours after that Nagelsmann news as well, it just absolutely broke me,
just
man.
Imagine winning a trophy and crying that he's won a trophy in England for the first time with Chelsea. I just can't, that image would just be burned in my mind forever.
Just him coming out at that dugout at the Spurs stadium in that tracksuit, that Chelsea tracksuit. It's going to make me sick.